What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of What Is Podcast, the show where every week 3 best friends and you come together to talk games, shows, movies, and tech. I'm one of your hosts, Patrick Jovez. Alongside me, I have everyone's best friend, Brian Rohr.
Hi.
He's a little brain dead because it's his third day of work.
I'm not happy.
This is his first job ever.
Yeah, congratulations, Brian.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, congratulations, dude. Give it up. Good job.
He gets to work.
Good job. 3 days, and you haven't been fired yet. That's a new record.
Well, that's still that might still be yet to be decided.
Oh, really? You're not secure at that position yet?
Yes, I'm not secure.
Kind of a probationary thing?
Yeah, it's kind of on probation. Kind of they found about my criminal record.
You failed your drug test?
Failed my drug test.
They found out,
Too many poppy seed muffins?
Yeah, it's the freaking, it's what I told them it wasn't my painkillers, but yeah, it was definitely all the poppy seed muffins.
It definitely wasn't the joint I was smoking on the way to the interview.
That's definitely not what it was. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Awesome. Well, I hope that comes along. And of course, we can't do the show without our very own rock star, Mr. Ryan McGeary.
How's it going, guys?
I recently heard that you had an interview as well, Ryan. How'd that go?
Well, I work 2 jobs, but both of them are, kind of changing. So, nothing solid yet, but I interviewed for a video producer job and at another radio station, and then I also interviewed at different bars for my other job. So everything's going pretty good so far. Nothing's set in stone yet, but it's I'm excited. I'm excited on life. We got lots of cool video projects going on in my life right now. I think actually that I kind of agreed to shoot around five music videos or so
at the bars that you've worked at.
No, thank God. My ex is named Megan, so I'm not really super looking. If I see a girl named Megan,
oh wait, are you serious?
Not only the Key and Peele thing, but just personal experience. I just run away, just run far away.
It's just gonna traumatize you.
Run.
You go back to the bar.
You eat
it. Oh my goodness. This is the best opening for the show. Ladies and gentlemen, with that all being said, we got some housekeeping. If you haven't noticed, we are on iTunes now.
Yeah.
Because of all of our hard work and my money.
Well,
we
Patrick's
are now on iTunes.
Harder money.
I was going to say more you're just hard work.
I just show up.
Hard money.
We come in every week. We show up not prepared, and they end up asking me what their topics are.
Yeah.
So for the 2 of you guys listening out there, thanks for supporting us.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you, Patrick, for all that you've done for the show.
Yep. You guys owe me, it was $9.99 a month, so you guys owe me $3.33.
Can I take some of the miles I owe Ryan to Oregon and kind of put it towards yours?
So a foot?
Yeah, I'll take a couple feet out of the distance I owe him and kind of
just give it to you. Piggy bank on you?
Yeah.
To,
By the way, the story to that is that I drove Brian around everywhere in high school, and so I told him that he needs to make it up to me at some point, and we just agreed Oregon was about the equivalent distance. So I guess if I ever just want to go,
that's not what I hear. I hear that Brian, you've only drove Brian to school when he needed a ride, and technically you guys are going the same place.
Ah, right.
So I'm not sure if that counts as everywhere.
Patrick,
and you also did throw a basketball in his face while trying.
Patrick, don't ruin this for me. Why are you trying to ruin this for me? I don't drive anymore. This is my ace up the sleeve. A cute girl late at night is like, "Hey, come on over," and I don't have a ride. That's where Brian comes in. You're
Bart's close.
So what happens when you have to leave? You have to ask her for a ride?
Brian just kind of have to wait outside. It's only going to take a couple minutes anyways.
Ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, let's start the show with the first segment we like to call Game Time. Alright guys, welcome to Game Time. If you haven't already, don't forget to download your free PlayStation Plus and Xbox One games with gold. Starting off with the PlayStation lineup, you have for PS4 Little Big Planet 3, Not a Hero, and then for PS3 with cross-buy for PS4 you get Star Wall, and then Anna, the extended edition for PS3. And for the people who bought a Vita, you can cross buy with PS4. You get Ninja Senki DX and Twerk L.
Twerk or twerk?
Same thing.
Same.
For Xbox One, you guys can get Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime Project Cars Edition February 16th to March 15th. And for 360, you can get Monkey Island 2 Special Edition. That starts, that's from the beginning of February to February 15th. And February 16th till 28th, you can get your hands on Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Quick bit of tidbits. I don't know if that's a saying. Couple items of news that we got. NES Classic sells 1.5 million units worldwide.
That's a lot.
Whoa.
That's a lot, but it's...
Well, it's not a lot compared to, I guess, the other consoles for sure.
The thing is, it's not a new piece of technology.
Good point.
You know, and we've heard that it's been a killer to try and find, and you couldn't even pre-order them.
That's right.
So it's basically people trying their luck and waiting outside their Best Buys and Targets and Circuit Cities to even like get a glimpse of one.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a huge backlash, not backlash, but like disappointment when it came to the release of this thing, because it literally should be like, it came out, November? It should have been like a stocking stuffer. It should have been something at like a 7-Eleven where you could pick up at the end.
Yeah.
You should be like, oh, let me just get a pack of smokes and the NES Classic.
NES Classic.
You know? But congratulations to Nintendo for selling that many units. They are upping their production because of high demand.
That's good to hear.
I think I might pick one up like when shipment 2 arrives.
Version 2?
Yeah.
Will
If
be
they make
better.
if they make a SNES Classic, then I will definitely stand in line for that. But argue that's just because that's the console I grew up with.
Sure.
What about you, Ryan? Have you had any interest in buying that at all?
You know, honestly, my first console was the PS1, and I never even had an SNES. So, it doesn't have the same like level of nostalgia for me. But I understand its popularity, and obviously some of the games I'm familiar with, but it's not. It's honestly not something that I would spend my money on personally. But I understand as a gamer, like how amazing it is. Like if someone made something like that for like the PlayStation 1, and I guess they kind of do, right? But I don't think the PlayStation back catalog goes that far, right? Like the PlayStation Plus, like they have some old games, but it's not like the same thing as like getting to see the console again brand new and have all the new technology make it like all in one package, right? It's not really the same feeling. So it's really I understand how cool it is, but it doesn't personally resonate with me.
Okay. All right. Some other piece of news. For Nintendo, Wii U production ends globally. Previously Nintendo confirmed that Wii U production would be ending soon, but didn't provide any exact time frame. And it seemed like by the end of December 31st, 2016, the Wii U sold just over 13.5 million units, which isn't something to shout from the rooftops.
Over the course of its lifespan. Well, I have to say, may it rest in peace.
Yeah, I mean, I liked my Wii U for the amount of time that I used it. I know, Ryan, you came in a little late to the game, right?
Yeah, that kind of like made me not as attached to it. Also, the community of my friends that play video games don't play on Wii U as much, you know? So as far as like, you know, wanting to go play online, a huge part of it for me is, you know, being social with people. So the fact that Wii U is a great, you know, thing for people when they're like physically there, but not really for me at least. Playing online with my friends, I didn't play it that much after my first initial like couple months of like just playing the shit out of Super Smash Brothers. And obviously, I think I'm gonna pick it back up again once Breath of the Wild comes out, because they're doing a cross-platform for that, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll definitely be plugging it back in. Huh?
March 3rd.
Yeah, I believe it comes out for both Wii U and the Switch on the same day, March 3rd.
Exactly. So, you know, I'll definitely be back on it at that point, but it was kind of an impulse buy after I played a little bit of Super Smash Brothers at a friend's house and realized how much I missed that game. So,
all right.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, good job on Nintendo for giving as much life into the Wii U as they could. But
They did it all with first-party titles.
yeah,
They tried.
like I said, I liked mine for the time that I had with it, and Monster Hunter definitely helped put in, it made my purchase worthwhile, and Smash Bros.
Mm-hmm.
But sad to see it go, but on to bigger and better things. All right, let's get into our topic. We're going to loosely review Final Fantasy 15. All three of us have finally beat it. I was the last one to the bandwagon. But yeah, I guess some of like the key points we'll hit on will be our thoughts on the story, the visuals, the gameplay, and then overall thoughts on the entire game as a whole. So, story. What do you guys think?
Well, story, as I think we can all agree, and pretty much everybody else listening, was a beautiful mess.
That's a great way of putting
Or
it.
a mess.
Or just a mess. I
Or
say
just
beautiful
a mess, not even.
Or just a mess.
Just
Okay, maybe it's just
a mess.
maybe it's just messy.
Some things just are messy.
I think what happened was they were trying to, tell a cohesive story, and that's the issue. It's just not. It doesn't flow correctly, and I have to say when Tabata-san took over and had to work with the content that he had for a game that had changed from from two different platforms, went from PS3 now to PS4, and trying to fix everything they had over the last 10 plus years and do it. And I think he was working on it for maybe 4 to 6 years. It's kind of impressive that they were able to push out something that still is pretty polished for what it is,
and received pretty good
reviews critically.
Yeah.
But come on, let's be honest. It needed a movie to help explain the story, and even then, the movie didn't make sense.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun watching because we literally like the week before the game out, we watched that Kingsglaive movie, and we were like, "Man, this is so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening?"
We didn't know. We're like, this just looks like a beautiful CG cutscene, and I love it.
Yeah,
but I will say that whereas where it lacks in the story, you're getting pretty fantastic character development for the main characters, and for some of the other side characters, pretty sure we don't really fully understand Arden's whole role in it. I think that was kind of a point of confusion. And I kind of liked how it got a little linear at the end. I feel like it could tell a story better up until the Fabled Chapter 13, which we might discuss later.
For me, the story for me was like you said, Brian, pretty messy. But I think I kind of gave it more credit than most people. I enjoyed it and kind of allowed myself to be, okay with not understanding everything because it's a Final Fantasy game. I mean, it's supposed to be kind of over the top and kind of convoluted. So kind of keeping that in mind, I didn't stress too much about any certain plot holes. And that allowed me to enjoy it more, but I can definitely understand how you could be scratching your head at the end of it. I mean, we had to talk about okay, who was Arden? Especially because they did a terrible job mixing that scene when Noct is getting absorbed by the crystal. I don't know how. I mean, there's so much time and effort put into this game. It's easy to have an oversight, but one of the main cutscenes, Arden is whispering. I was like, how did you not? That pissed me off so much because I had to ask you the next day. I beat it, but I don't know what happened because. One of the main cutscenes, he was whispering in. But even then, it's kind of, again, convoluted. I kind of liked the very end of it where they're married, but not. I don't know. Whatever. It was such a good feel good. I know we all talked about this in Greed. At the very end, they did a really good job of making you have the sense of nostalgia, the journey that you went through, not Noct, you went through.
Yes.
Was coming to an end and making you go through all the pictures and everything, and kind of going to what your point, Brian, is that the game was more about Noct and his relationship with Ignis and Gladius and Prompto, and I think that's the takeaway from the story, not all the weird prophet stuff and all this other summons and getting your power of the gods, blah blah. Although it was cool. I mean, again, it was a Final Fantasy game, so it was cool seeing all of your ancestors striking Arden down in the abyss, and you're like, oh my god, that's so And only something as convoluted as
It was.
Final Fantasy could even pull that off, you know? So I think it was really
Exactly.
cool. But like you said, it was definitely confusing. So I tried to let that go and not ruin it for me, because like you said, the character development was so solid, and you really got a sense, and it felt so random and organic too. Like there's certain character development points they didn't shove down your throat. They knew it would take you a very long time to complete these things, so they would add these random events. Like, you know, Prompto comes up to you at some point and like, it's like, hey man, can we like talk or whatever? And it's like, it's not really a
on top of
cutscene.
the
It's just,
motel, right?
yeah, it just happens.
Yeah. Did you get that too, Pat?
Yeah,
That was
I got
cool.
that.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Patrick?
So for me, I'm debating whether it's because of the way I played it, or is it because the story was so convoluted. I mean, and overall, the story was fine. I understood it fairly well. It wasn't something like to just like. It wasn't something that blew me away. You know, it was fine.
Yeah, it was more one of the weaker aspects of the game.
Yeah.
The story.
The thing was
The story.
Yeah, the story.
But everything else was fantastic.
The thing was for me that I played through chapter 1 through 7, and then I took like 2 weeks off when we're trying to figure out this podcast situation. And then immediately it turned into like a story heavy like game. As soon as you hit chapter 8, it blasts through like chapter 9, 10, 11, 12, and then you get to 13. And it was weird in a sense of like pacing, because like I would get tidbits of information on the story throughout my like 50 hours through
like
chapter 1 through 7,
world,
and then all of a sudden everything kind of just comes at you. But like I said earlier, the story was just fine. It wasn't anything to write home about. I think my favorite part, spoilers, was when Noctis got swallowed by a rock. I didn't know what was happening.
Like for you, that was
When
just like
was that?
ridiculous and over the top, and
When
not
when
like,
Arden was whispering,
Yeah.
Oh, and he's just eating him with the
like
the
a
star
rock just swallows him, and I was like,
crystal. Yeah.
okay, let's just go with that.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm watching, but it's pretty, I guess.
Yeah, it looks
So,
good.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's my thoughts on how good the story was. So let's get into gameplay. What do you guys think? I think this was like the crowning achievement of Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, we have a lot of good things to say about gameplay.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
So what do you think, Brian?
I think gameplay and the combat was one of the better elements, I think, of the game for sure. I loved how they went with more of a action RPG style. They went kind of more Kingdom Hearts, whereas it wasn't exactly like Kingdom Hearts, which I think I prefer more. But it was a good blend, especially if you turn on the different combat to wait mode. There's active and wait mode. It gives you that best of both worlds. You have the action, capability. You can dodge if your timing's good. You can block. But when you want to see health, when you want to see, fine tune your accuracy for when you're attacking, you can, stop moving and the weight gauge pops up, and it kind of feels more like a standard Final Fantasy game. But something about searching the open world and just all the small little gameplay banter between the four characters as you'd walk around. Things that you may never even hear, like two different people may not even have heard all the same things because they didn't go to the same locations or they didn't, do the same exact situation. And then I neglected fishing as a gameplay mechanic until the very end of the game, and it was amazing.
That's my favorite part.
It's so good.
You guys keep
It's
saying
so
that, but I
challenging.
can't get into it. I'm not good at it, and it's just so
it's
not
so
rewarding.
relaxing.
It is, man. If you take the time and get the right gear, it is very rewarding. It's the most rewarding boss experience, I think, fishing compared to any of the Menace dungeons. It's weird, but it's true.
Yeah, this is my favorite fishing minigame in any game I've ever played that has fishing as a minigame mechanic.
Yeah, better than their Justice Monsters 5 pinball, which I didn't play too much of.
That took me forever to figure out. I had to
I
had to really read the help menu and try to figure out. And even then, when I figured it out, I was like, "This is okay." Like, I got like the highest, I guess, reward on each of the machines, and I was like, "Okay, that's cool."
All the treasures.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, gameplay. like I said, this was the draw for me on
Mhm.
Final Fantasy ever since it was Versus 13 and I saw that trailer
Mhm.
and I was like, oh my god, this is like free flow combat for Final Fantasy. Like, that's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
It felt more like actiony, even though for the most part you can pretty much hold down a circle button and then hold down square until you like it gives you the parry. For some reason,
Yeah.
it's still something to come back to. Like, it's fun for some reason.
Mhm.
It's not that challenging. Yeah, you just hold circle until you need to hold square and then repeat.
That's a fair point, though.
It's not that much of a challenge, but it's fun. I think because it has that Final Fantasy draw of seeing your numbers go up and seeing your levels go up,
Mhm.
and you're just like, oh
How
man,
much damage you
I'm
can
actually
do.
getting stronger, and like the ascension system, very
Yeah, it would vary your combat a little bit.
it varies your
different
combat a little bit.
strategies.
You get choose how you want to play. Yeah, I really like that. It kind of was reminiscent of the Sphere Grid,
Yes.
but not too much. It had like its own spin on the Sphere Grid, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, for
but
me,
yeah.
for me, the combat system, like you guys were saying, very rewarding, and also simplistic, but I think rewarding. And by the way, I'm super weird. I changed the combat system from the beginning, so I feel like I'm one of the only people that plays it on. I think it's like the second setting, where it's like the attack and defend are on the right triggers and left trigger. So
yeah.
when you guys are like
But
saying like, oh,
nothing.
press the circle
What
button, I'm
the
like, I have
hell
no
is
clue
wrong
what that
with you?
means. I have no clue. Well, I'd been
That
playing so
doesn't
much
do
Rocket League
anything.
before that it just
That-
felt right. It felt right. I don't know why. But yeah, I mean, the combat system was. I feel like part of the reason why it's rewarding is because you can hack and slash a lot. It's like the game is pretty straightforward for the most part, but you have to use all of the tools in your tool belt for one reason or another, because there's so many different types of enemies and so many variants. Like, whether it be aerial combat, you'll have to use Warp Strike to get up to like maybe a Wyvern or like one of the birds, and then it's pretty easy because then you'll just like, warp around up there. Or if an enemy has like a ton of
air
health, then you
dance.
have to devise like ways of staying alive long enough, or countering any like status effects, or making sure that you use magic carefully, because it's just so it's just unrelenting. It just hurts everyone, right? Your teammates. You can
Right.
you can do more damage to your team than the monster. And then the whole.
With
I thought it was kind of cool that each monster had a weakness to different weapon classes. So like, if something you can do something that's outside of your, because pretty much the game is based on like scaling of levels. So you can't do a level 70 dungeon if you're level 50, but you can do a level 70 dungeon if you're level like 60 or 65. It's just a little bit more challenging, which is what I like. Like, even though the gameplay is very straightforward, there's so much content that it's still challenging to try things that are stronger than you, because there are strategies and tools in which to inflict more damage and stay alive and vary your combat. But if you're just wanting to flip around and like do lower level stuff, I mean, with your Ultima Blade, that's cool, but you can try more challenging stuff. Like me and Brian, we were talking about like I know Patrick, you haven't really done a lot of this, but the post-game dungeons are very boring. They look all the same, but they're fun. Like they're really hard, and it's you descend into the depths of them, and when you finally come out, it's not very visually interesting, but it's rewarding, and you get really powerful weapons. So they do a good job of not only keeping you engaged during the story, the first 13 chapters, but the end game's pretty fun too.
Yeah. I mean, I got my platinum this morning, actually.
Nice,
So
congrats.
I refuse to put any more hours into that game.
Yeah, I think.
For the combat, I like that that there was like, if you attacked from the back, you could do like a link strike, or like, I like the fact that they had link strikes, because it made it seem like it was more of like team building and
it looked really cool,
character
too.
building. Yeah, and it was very cool looking, especially when you got cool pictures of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, I would say definitely what makes the game kind of that solid 8.5 review-wise is the post-game. Like, you get so much of it, and what's really cool about the platinum is it's not too bad to get. Like, you get to see a good amount of the world, and you get to do a lot with
It's
you
very
strive with
natural
platinum.
to unlock.
Very natural. But I think I was looking up online, and like most people came to the conclusion that like a platinum, you only need to play about 40 to 50% of the game to get the platinum, which is good and bad. It's good because it makes, the trophy progression a little bit easier. But a lot of people, and I know you're not like this, Patrick, but a lot of other people that don't know that will be like, "Oh, I've done everything. I have the platinum," and then maybe not even realize that there's something called the Pitios dungeon, which I think I was telling you, Ryan, about it. There's a platforming only dungeon that's like on that Rabbito mountain, like volcano. There's a small landing strip that
By
you can
the way,
only
that
get
thing
to
is
with your
impossible to land on. I died like 8 times, and I still haven't gotten
Your first
to
game
it.
over was probably from that, right?
I'm so
Yeah.
angry. I can't even get to it. It's like they put giant rocks on either side of it, so you can't land.
Yeah, it's rough. You have to get I got it first try, but it was really close.
Oh,
Like I definitely thought I was gonna
whatever,
blow up
Brian. Yeah.
the car.
Oh, I got it.
But I will say, mhm.
Sound like
I'm
a
just
jerk.
better. I was level 99, but
So your car has more health?
Mantoys when I was level 60. So
good shit.
Shut up.
Got him. But yeah, there's basically, for if anyone doesn't know, if you reach endgame, you can do this dungeon, and it's platforming only. There's jumps, there's kind of tight paths, there's like basically like inclined walls that you have to walk on.
So it's like the first raid in Destiny.
Yeah, a little bit. I think it's, whereas in that raid was definitely more had a lot of platforming elements. Like this is that, but there's no combat. You don't fight at all. You never get hurt. It's puzzle solving and platforming, and it takes about 3 hours to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a different game.
But it's really challenging, and it's really it kind of starts to wear you out because you have to figure these things out on your own. But once you complete it, and the reward's terrible, by the way, you get something called the Black Hood that allows you to auto evade when you're not doing anything. So it's like not that great.
After you beat the game.
After you beat it. But then once you beat it, though, you got that sense of exhilaration that you're like, I did this. I beat it. And it was visually, and when we move on to visuals, that was one of the things I want to talk about. It was a very cool, different kind of visual style than all the dungeons and all the parts of the world that we'd seen in the game.
Yeah, let's just go straight into visuals then. Keep going on that same track.
Yeah, I would say visuals were really good. I was sad there wasn't enough cutscenes. I wanted to see more super pretty graphics. But overall, I was really impressed with the visuals. I feel like it stuck to a pretty good 30 frames. I didn't see too many dips. I would have loved to have played it in the Pro with the new 60 frame patch, which I think isn't out yet. It's coming out soon. But
you can always come over to my house.
Yes, we're gonna have a party and we're gonna watch it in a higher frame rate at your place.
We'll just make we'll make a whole afternoon of you guys watching me play Final Fantasy.
That's a
that
party.
Sounds
That's
super
our kind of party. Primos.
Something only we would.
Sounds
like,
really lame to some people, but it's super fun for us.
Exactly.
Still lame for us.
But
still stupid.
I really liked their kind of the visual style they chose, where they went kind of more modern, right? There's like cars, cell phones, the cityscape, like everything they showed. I was like, oh, this is a really cool like setting for Final Fantasy 15. And then when you go into Altissia for the first time, freaking Venice, it was beautiful.
Yeah,
that was
really
amazing.
Cool.
So I think the game really did wow on the visuals and some of the world design that they did. So I really liked it.
Yeah. What do you think, Ryan?
I thought they did I feel like always a hallmark of video games with good graphics is that you can't tell the difference between the quote-unquote good graphics cutscene and the gameplay. And I think we're kind of getting to that point in all games, not just Final Fantasy games, which have always kind of set a standard for being incredibly beautiful. But I feel like this game definitely does that. You're like, when you go into Altissia, think about video games 5 years ago, 10 years ago. That entire boat ride into the city would have been a cutscene, but it was just the normal game engine, and it was gorgeous.
Zoomed out.
I mean, that blew me away the first time I went to Altissia. I feel like, and again, we can touch on this in a second about kind of, I think they rushed a lot of the game, but especially Altissia in that area is so small, and the whole land mass you're looking at it like, oh, what of this do I get to explore? It's not much, but I digress.
Right.
It's such a beautifully designed set piece, and it was so amazing that you can walk around and it's just, the whole town is just gorgeous. And again, we're to the point where you don't necessarily need separate cutscenes to really show off how beautiful a game can be. Although I would say my one gripe with Final Fantasy, the visuals, is the American voice acting was so good, but they didn't put a lot of time into syncing up the lips. So a lot of the times it kind of takes you out of how pretty the game is when you get too close to the face, because the faces can either look really good or they can look really kind of crappy and weird. And like sometimes the eyes, like you look at Prompto's pictures and like Gladio's eyes are like red and like popping out of his head, and you're like, oh, it looks so creepy. And
I'm glad you brought up the lip sync. That's definitely something to touch upon.
And that's another visual aspect of the game that was really impressive. Is Prompto's photography throughout the entire game was actually really good. Like there's sometimes you're like, whoa, like that's really cool.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I filled up my album pretty quick.
Yeah, I can't wait for the new patch so we can get what was it, 250 photos now?
Or no, 100 more, I think. Yeah, 250.
So yeah, I'm definitely impressed with the graphics. I would say that just the sheer size. I think what's more impressive is not how good it looks, because most games look like this now, but I think it's impressive by how huge this game is with no loading screens. Like you can literally just, I mean, the whole freaking map is, I mean, obviously there's techniques they use, like it's not, the whole thing isn't fully rendered all the time. It has like, a bubble basically, but everything like looks good. If you're on top of what is it? Brian, help me out with the mountain name. Mountain
Ravito.
Ravito. Yeah. So if you're on top of the mountain,
Mount
you look
Craig,
you can just see everything, and it's just gorgeous. They do such a good job of like totally just immersing you in it, and just really the attention to detail. The fact that you can go like tide pooling with your party is amazing. Or you can just go like, walk around in the forest and just like go for a hike. I mean, that's not really what people do in the game, but you know what I mean? Like there's just so many small things that they've really put a lot of attention to detail in. And that's what's most impressive for me graphically, is just the fidelity of the game,
Yeah. Yeah, I think you guys touched on everything I was planning on saying. So let's just go straight into overall thoughts of the game. Like what would you feel if you had to put a number on it? What would you give this?
I want to say, for myself, if I had to start, go like for the first. It kind of dipped for me. Like from chapters like 1 through 7, when it was kind of open world, I was like, dude, this is like a solid 8. And then you hit that chapter 13, and this is where the progression got weird. People, if you were kind of curious about why we kept bringing 13, it took too long to tell us, a part of the story that was like very boring, unfortunately, very slow. But before that, it was
the whole story patch, right?
Yeah, and they have the story patch coming. It's going to modify this chapter 13, by the way. It's going to, try to make it different pacing-wise, or add some different things to it. But so when, that hit, I think my score was kind of changing. But then after I did the post-game stuff and saw all that they had to offer, I want to say I would end with an overall like 8.5 for me. Like I put a good 85 hours in the game, and I really enjoyed my time with it.
What about you, Ryan?
If I were to put a number on it, I would say 8 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed this game. I've put, I think, 75 hours in it already. And that's for someone who works 2 to 3 jobs. Like I don't have a lot of free time, but I've definitely put a lot of my free time into this game. I think that's a testament to how fun the game is, just genuinely how gorgeous it is and how diverse the gameplay can be. You can do so many different things, and it doesn't really feel like a grind. And I think that's the most important part of a game, is how fun it is. I think what helps make it so fun is you're really attached also to the characters. So again, like we've said earlier, they did character development was excellent. The two things that the game, the 9 out of 10 and then the 10 out of 10, I think, that are missing in this are the 2 points that are missing are the fact that the story is a little bit convoluted. They could have simplified it with the same impact, and then they could have also, I was disappointed that they spent so much time on this main area, and then all these other cool things that you thought you were going to get out of the game were just like little vignettes. I would have loved to
Little
explore,
tastes, yeah.
the Empire more, and I would have loved to explore
Yes.
Insomnia a little bit more. But I understand, that there was so much put into this game. I'm not like really complaining, still giving it a high score, but there's just so many cool parts of this world that I want to see still. And I know there's lots of like content coming out for it still, so maybe we'll get some,
Mm-hmm.
more of that. But that's something I think they can improve on. It's just like, show us more of this world. It's so well thought out. There's so much lore. There's so much to it that I want to know more,
Yes.
and I can't. So, overall, great game, super fun.
Yeah, well said, Pat. What do you think?
Yeah, for me, I'd give it a 4 out of 5. It's not like a masterpiece. It's not like the greatest game, the end all games, but it's definitely a well-made game. The mechanics are fun. The systems are awesome. Yeah, like the visuals great. The story is a little convoluted, but for the most part, it gets the job done, and that's probably why I give it a 4 out of 5. It's really high up there. It's really fun. Sunk a lot of hours into it, but it wasn't like a be-all end-all game that I was kind of expecting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess that's all we have for our review of Final Fantasy 15. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Before we go, what games are we playing this week, Brian?
A lot of Resident Evil 7.
You're almost done with that, huh?
I finished it last week.
Ooh.
Now I'm doing my speed run, which has been fun. And then I got this other game from a good friend of ours, John Thompson. Shout out. He hooked me up with a game called I think it's called Azure Striker Gunvolt or Gunvolt Azure Striker. It's one of those combination.
My goodness. Uh-huh.
It's very hard to pronounce. But it's this really fantastic kind of like Mega Man, not clone, but a Mega Man like
So like Mighty
side-scrolling
Number
shooter.
9.
But better. But better. And it's like fully voiced, and you have like, the English and Japanese audio voice tracks, and it looks like a lot of fun. And I played about, a good couple hours on BART in the last couple days, and it's been really great. So that's what I've been doing.
Cool. Ryan?
Since I beat Final Fantasy, I'm still kind of playing some of the endgame dungeons, playing a little bit of Rocket League. But I think I'm going to kind of maybe pick up either the Uncharted series, since I got a lot of that sitting in front of me. I still have Skyrim sitting in front of me. But I might also pick up Kingdom Hearts. I don't know. The 2.8. I didn't get to play a lot of those in between games, so I think it'd be cool. I'll almost definitely buy it before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, but I definitely got a lot of stuff backlogged right now that I'd love to.
You've got time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So maybe that's just me being anxious because it just came out, but
Yeah.
Right.
For me, now that I finally beat Final Fantasy 15, I got the platinum. That game is gonna go straight to my brother's, so he could finally freaking play it.
Mm-hmm.
So after playing a long open world game, I'm ready to change it up, go back to more linear settings. Probably I'm gonna play through Telltale's Batman because I've been looking forward to that game for so long now.
Yeah.
I've been playing a bit of Pokemon here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I know we haven't scheduled anything, but Brian, we need to figure out some time when we could play more Monster Hunter.
Yes.
And then me and my cousin are gonna play through Gears of War 4 on co-op, and also Watch Dogs 2. Because
it's good.
Yeah.
I've been dying to play that just to see how close it is to San Francisco. Like, I know it's not.
Yes.
Developers have said it.
See, that's the thing.
My friends have said
I wouldn't
it.
know otherwise.
Yeah, I mean,
my hometown.
I just want to find my apartment. I just want to like run around until I can find it, but I know it's
You're not
See,
gonna
that's the
find
thing.
it.
I want to see if there's a Subway right next to my building where I work.
Yeah,
And
right.
you're like, it's good.
Did
That's
they get
10
it
out of
right?
10.
Did
It's there.
they?
Yeah.
They've admitted they didn't. But I still want to.
Correct.
I
Yeah,
still want
it's
to
major
complain about it.
landmarks.
I'm gonna spend 60
Oakland
bucks
is
just to
nothing like
complain.
Oakland because I have a feeling they kind of just like they
I-
were just like, let's just step right here and we could guess the rest.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well, and I've
figured.
actually heard it's really fun and really well made. So, it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
much better
I'm
than
joking
first, from
about
what it sounds like.
buying it just to make fun of it, but I'm actually kind of genuinely
Yeah.
curious because I really did enjoy the first one. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten great reviews, so or pretty decent reviews critically, but unfortunately, it's not selling too well. So let's see. I'll definitely get to that sometime soon. All right, that's all we have for game time, folks. Stick around for our next segment. What's on?
Back to the past and around.
Welcome to What's On, everybody. So, as I'm sure you're all aware of, we have a fantastic new trailer for the new season of Samurai Jack on Cartoon Network that, of course, we all know is a show that aired some 13 years ago on that same very network. And it's going to be on Adult Swim, so it's going to be a little bit grittier. It's going to be a little bit darker. It's more blood.
Yeah, the trailer, man.
It looked
like he was bleeding on the wall.
It was, and there was like someone getting stabbed, like in the I saw blood like spurt out. I was like, oh gosh.
Was the original not
so this
that
got me
bloody?
thinking-
I don't remember.
He had like, for the most part, he'd get a scratch on his face and it'd be red.
Yeah.
but he
I guess-
wouldn't
I guess a lot of the
bleeding.
violence they did show was like
Correct.
robot blood, right? Like green stuff and like,
Yeah, like the first episode, he was
Sludge.
like covered in black oil because he was killing the beetles, those
Yeah.
black beetles.
Right.
God, it's such a good first 2-part episode.
It was fantastic.
Yeah,
So-
loved it.
That trailer and that show in general, it's got me thinking, like what are our thoughts on that new season? Are we excited? Are we happy for it? It's going to be on Adult Swim now, so we can definitely talk a little bit more about that. We kind of just recently touched a little bit on that. But then beyond that, if you could, what other Cartoon Network show would you love to see brought back for another season? But yeah, let's start with how we felt about our thoughts on this new season for
I
Samurai
have
Jack.
been waiting for so long. Just like literally, Young Justice season 3 gets confirmed. I'm like, oh my god!
Wait, no, it
And then
didn't.
I was like,
How did I
man.
know about this? Is it really? Oh my god!
Yeah.
I'm about to go.
This
cry.
was on the first episode when I told you.
Okay,
true.
okay.
We
Maybe I
could go
did know
back
this.
to-
I forgot.
yeah.
I forgot. I'm
And
sorry.
then now, I mean, we knew Samurai Jack was coming back
In some
but
form,
We
yeah.
thought it was maybe 2016. All of a sudden, we haven't heard anything. Finally, we get a trailer drop. So it turns out it's 2017. Oh my god! Like when I saw the trailer, my brother sent it to me in the morning when I woke up, and I was like, I turned wide awake. I couldn't. It's so good, man.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of my favorite cartoons. The voice acting's phenomenal. I can't wait to see this new storyline.
Yeah.
I wonder if Aku will be in it.
For sure, he was in the trailer.
Was he?
Yeah, I remember hearing like, oh no, you know what he says? You're right, because he says like something about how Aku's.
You don't see him,
kinda
but you
grasp
hear him
on the
because he
world is
talks to
changing. You hear him
those
talk.
okay.
women robots, right? He's like, now you shall go
Yes.
find
Look like
him.
they're like his frog unit.
Yeah,
from
yeah, they did look like the Frog Unit soldiers from the Metal Gear
Metal Gear
Solid 4.
Solid 4. But yeah, like super excited. Can't wait. Definitely, this is a show that I will be actually watching like while it's on TV.
Definitely.
Unless they put it on Hulu like the next day, then I'll watch it on Hulu.
But I think it might be a while. They could. They do a lot of Cartoon Network stuff.
Yeah.
Or Adult Swim.
What about you, Ryan?
I remember when I first watched the show, I was so blown away by it. This is the time, because I think I first saw it on Toonami right when I was younger, and it was right as I was starting to get into like anime and stuff like that. So this was in the same vein as like anime kind of, but it had such a distinct art style that felt, because it's
Yes.
American, right? So it didn't have some
Yeah.
of these like cultural things that I feel like it was one of the first cartoon shows that not only had an absolutely gorgeous art style, but it felt to me like an anime that was like American, that it was like that I really liked, that I could like resonate with a little bit more. And I know that
Mhm.
like there's a lot of subtleties in saying that it's not overt in any way, but that's just one of the aspects that I kind of really clicked with, is that sometimes you'll watch Japanese animes and there'll be like certain like societal things that just like don't happen in the States, right? And it was just like this
Like
super
everyone's nose
cool,
bleeding.
like almost
What are you talking about?
it almost felt like a Blade Runner, like American sci-fi movie in the form of like almost like South Park-esque looking thing. It blew my mind, everything about it. Like nothing seemed to fit, but it worked. And seeing this new trailer was super cool. I really I feel like if it wasn't Samurai Jack, the whole like I have like never aged and blah blah blah, like it would be kind of like lame, but I don't even care. Like if Samurai Jack does it, I'm like, yes, this is such a good idea. I can't believe I didn't think about this. Because how do they make a new season so many years later? Do they continue
like
it?
Time has.
Right? How do they justify it? So I think it was cool that they like he's
Yeah.
like he's failed basically, and so you're watching him rise again. Like he lost.
Yeah.
And he's in hiding. Like he's hit rock bottom. He's not succeeding against Aku at this point.
Exactly.
And you get this sense that this new season is going to be the rise of Jack again. You just get excited by this idea that he's hunted, and you think that he's done for, and then you see him like running away with like explosions and grenades and stuff, and it's just, you're like, all right, it's still Jack. Like, he's still gonna kick
really
ass.
want to spoil something, but I'm not going to, because
Would it be involving like something that happened in the first 4 seasons that you don't want to talk about?
yeah, because you can tell by the art style, like definitely the facial hair in the trailer.
Ah.
There's an episode that totally like kind of deals with him failing, and I just can't say anymore. Like,
That's fair.
For you guys who haven't watched Samurai Jack, check it out. I don't know if they took it off Netflix.
Yeah, I watched it on Netflix.
Yeah,
too,
it was on Netflix, and I know they took a whole bunch of Cartoon Network shows off. But if you can find it, you can find it easily online. Just search for episodes. It's definitely worth the watch.
Yeah.
The episode, oh man, so many good episodes. But anyways, let's get into the topic. I don't know, what show would you bring back
Whew.
from Cartoon Network?
It's rough. It's hard. Like, there's so many that I would like, and I think. Actually, you know what, Ryan? I want you to start, because I want to pick one that you didn't. So I'll let you start with this.
Sure.
That's not how the show works, Brian.
Yeah, you don't get to pawn it off. I'll go. I was thinking about this, and I think the show that I'd revive would be Courage the Cowardly Dog. Actually,
That's why I let you go first.
Oh!
I just
love that show.
it was just so creepy, and
So
there's
different,
something
yeah.
so endearing about it. I mean, when I was a kid, some of the episodes like genuinely scared me. But I like that. It's thrilling. Like, it's like watching a scary movie. I liked all of like. I don't think like there's any kid shows these days that have this morbid sense of humor in the way that Courage the Cowardly Dog did, and was just a total, making fun of horror. Like, you can tell the people who wrote that show are huge horror movie fans. They're fans of scary movies, and you don't see. I mean, it was a pretty unique show. I don't really think there's very many shows, period, that kind of do what Courage the Cowardly Dog did. But especially nowadays, and I really love the art style and the sense of humor. So if I were to choose one cartoon from back in the day to revive, it'd probably be Courage the Cowardly Dog. I just think it'd be cool to see new stuff from that, and it's
Yeah.
I know it's probably not on a lot of people's radars because it was more of a comedy than anything. But I just think it'd be fun to not just rewatch it, but to see new content.
Yeah, like I plan on I don't know how many dogs I'm gonna eventually have, but one of them is gonna be named Courage one day. So
And will be pink with black spots.
yeah,
You gotta make sure he's purple
Yeah,
though.
I could just dye him, right? There's no like PETA animal.
Well, I wouldn't.
laws
Yeah, I
against
wouldn't.
that.
I
Of course,
wouldn't.
you just throw a bucket of paint on him.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, so I was gonna pick Courage as well, and I realized we talked about it before. I know that was one of the shows that you really had a lot of good things to say about.
Spoiler alert: we're gonna pick Courage, all three of us.
All three of us. So
Listening Cartoon Network, you should remake it.
that's
Three
the choice
dudes
right
said do it, so you should do it.
Sounds reasonable to me. But yeah, so
So the internet works, right?
like another pick I would have. Yeah, exactly. Just 3
You
people
just get a
complain.
Kickstarter,
Or
Just
get a
Kickstarter, or like a GoFundMe.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It works every time. So continuing on the line of kind of this morbid humor, I'm gonna go with The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Oh wait, okay. So would that be with the also sideshow Chili Con Carne?
I didn't watch a lot of Chili Con Carne.
Oh god.
Like, I didn't know it didn't last very long, and they had a couple episodes. But I mainly like just the standard show, because I know it had like, there was something that aired like 2001, 2002 that was either just called like Billy and Mandy or like
Yeah,
something grim, or like it was a pilot. But then when they brought, for a couple more years after that, the Grim Adventures, I really liked it. There's something about just how kind of disgusting it was a little bit at times, and like the humor was just definitely like a little maybe much for some kids. Like, I'm surprised like they put that show on Cartoon Network and people watched it, but I really enjoyed it. Like, some of the things they did were hilarious, and Who knew you could make a show about two kids in the Grim Reaper being stuck as their best friend?
Grim
A
Reaper.
Jamaican Grim Reaper.
He had the coolest voice.
He did. It was very memorable. And, you have one genius evil girl and one completely idiotic young boy, and it makes for a fantastic, cartoon. I really liked it. And I almost I would like to see it maybe almost how Samurai Jack is going on Adult Swim. It'd be interesting to see where they take more adultish. Like, where would they take it?
Like, how adultish? Like Ren and Stimpy type?
No, maybe not.
That's too much. They put a dynamite in a frog's butthole.
Yeah,
and it blew up.
Maybe they're dealing with more darker issues. It's the Grim Reaper, and they kind of touched up a little bit on that, right? They talked about if the Grim Reaper could find a girlfriend and how she would react to him being the
Brian,
Grim Reaper and her thinking.
Brian, can I take back my choice?
Yeah.
No.
No.
That's not how the internet works, dude.
Wait, I'll let
Internet-
Patrick choose his first, just in case I steal his. I'll choose. I'll let Patrick say
I
his
have
first.
3 shows as usual.
Go for
you
it.
asked me for 1 show. I give you
do.
back 4.
See, that's just not responsible. I chose one, and at least I even when I didn't choose one, I chose 2, and I blindsided you with it. Which I guess is what you're doing right now.
Uh-huh.
So you got to pick 2.
All right. So what are your 3?
I got to pick 2.
2 out of 3.
Am I 3?
Do 2 out of 3.
Okay, so 3 out of 4.
Pick one.
Gotcha. Dang, man. So, Brian saw me when, I had, a eureka moment thinking about a cartoon. I didn't even mention it before, but...
horror.
So, my original pick, I think, still and will be Reboot.
Okay.
I know if you listen to the past episode with the 90s cartoons, that was literally one of my favorite shows ever. I still watch it once every year. And it's just so good. I love how nerdy, not nerdy, but in the sense of every piece of technology term is integrated into the show.
Yeah.
And the story of the user, we are the people that play the computer games, but we don't know that when we win, we destroy part of people's cities and stuff like that. And that's why it's cool to see in retrospect, because a lot of those older computer games, they're made for you to lose, and they're made for you to be challenging and put another quarter in, and so that's why it made it so hard. And that's why for the most part, whenever they mostly won, it made it so devastating when they actually lost, and you see this huge chunk of the city gone.
Yeah.
So I would love to see Reboot again, just continue on the story. I loved every single character. But that eureka moment that I had was Teen Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they do Teen Titans Go, but it's totally not the same.
They have a new movie coming out.
Yeah, they do. Is it the Judas Project or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely got to keep an eye out for that. But I would love for them to return to just the regular Teen Titans, where you have really serious storylines from time to time, peppered in with a lot of comedy and slapstick and just
horror.
Good
there was
stuff.
that Raven episode was fantastic.
So yeah, I would love Teen Titans also.
Yeah.
All right, what's your wild card?
My
Ryan?
my in the moment realization that I messed up is Cowboy Bebop. I'd love to see some more of.
Could you see? That's why I was straying away from anime.
Yeah,
because I feel like that isn't necessarily a Cartoon Network thing.
It was an Adult Swim. I don't think, because it was an Adult Swim original title, so that's why I say it's not a Cartoon Network show.
Yeah,
it originated.
So you messed up
as an anime,
still.
but it, I guess it still counts.
Let me have this. Come on.
Okay,
you're not gonna say you're gonna worry about the logistics of it. Come on.
Yes,
because we do that with every topic, man.
Absolutely.
You're not the excitement of having more episodes doesn't trump the cheating a little bit. No,
I mean, for me, I love Cowboy Bebop. That I don't know why I gave it an extra 3 E's. Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite shows. One of my favorite animes.
Just the feel of it. I mean, I feel like the whole show itself. It has this feeling that not many shows have. That's just self-contained. Every time you watch it, you're transported to
Plus,
that.
that's one of the best intros ever.
Some.
Dude, like the jazz.
It's the
Yeah,
whole
I mean the
show.
soundtrack was just
it oozes
so
style.
good. And I would say the only other
Yeah,
show
definitely,
in
that's
recent memory
worth
that
mentioning.
has this like
Can
self-contained.
Can I change my pick to Code Lyoko?
I'm gonna punch you.
That was
I've never
Cartoon
seen
Network.
it, but I know that show sucks.
It was French. It was fantastic.
I feel
It was a French show.
I think it originated as a French show. Yeah.
Oh,
I feel like the only
originally
other
dubbed
show that
that way.
has like a self-contained sense of like style, or it's just so it's just so powerful that it like transports you, other than Cowboy Bebop, would probably be Over the Garden Wall. I mean, that's the only one that I can think of
Right,
like
you've
that's
always talked good
comparable.
things
That
about
it's
it.
just like absolutely ridiculously enchanting in the same way, you know,
Mhm.
for different reasons,
Yeah.
but still. Have you guys seen that, by the way?
We haven't yet. We've talked about it a few times now on the show, but we haven't gotten a chance to watch it.
Over the Garden,
nope, I just
Over the
drown you
Garden,
out after we ask you the questions.
Over the Garden Wall is one of my favorite recent animated shows. You guys should definitely check it out.
Yeah. I think it's on Hulu. So
Is it on Hulu?
it is.
Okay,
I believe
yeah,
so, and
I'll-
it's only like 10 episodes. It's
check
like
that out.
very short. It's super easy to watch.
Short.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
super short, and each episode is like short, self-contained, and it's great. So
Cool. Well, yeah, that's. I feel like that summarizes our thoughts pretty well on our picks. I guess before we end the segment, though, are you guys watching anything new or anything you've been rewatching?
So I'm always trying to get people to watch different things that I like. So I'm just more comfortable watching them with like anywhere that I'm at.
Mhm.
So I got my brother to watch One Punch Man
Nice.
in English with the English dub, and
Good.
he likes it a lot. I also am rewatching all of It's Sunny in Philadelphia with my fiance because it takes forever for her to watch something I try to show her. But if you play it in the background,
know
and
what
she
that's like.
eventually like peeks over and what is this? Oh, this is kind of funny. And like
Mm-hmm.
I tried
You gotta
showing you
trick
this
her.
like 2 years ago. Yeah, and she's like, oh, now she's like done with the first season. I'm like, great. Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
But I can't complain. That's I can't wait to watch all like 11 seasons on Netflix with her to like
It is. It's nice.
because I love that show so much. I know it's like a big show between all of us. So
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, new shows. I tried watching Cosmos today on Netflix, the one with Neil deGrasse Tyson. It felt like some sort of scientific school special that you like when they back in the old days when they wheel out the TV and you're like, oh, you were gonna watch TV this period, and you're just like, yeah, it was very interesting. I'm not. It kind of lost me, so tried that. Watched what's it called? The Bill Burr special that's on Netflix, like the
Yeah, I
newest
saw
one.
the added one. It's
It's
good.
pretty good.
Good to know.
And yeah, I think that's it for like new things I've
Yeah.
watched.
How about yourself, Ryan?
So there's two shows that I've been watching the past week. I've been finishing up the Arrested Development season 3. I just started watching it the past couple of weeks, like for the first time ever. So I've had the pleasure of it. You know, it's like I feel like it's like when someone watches The Office for the first time. You just like you can't say anything. You just kind of like gotta let them watch it, right? So anytime I mention it,
Yeah.
people are like they get all excited and they don't want to say anything yet. They're like, all right, well, just talk to me in a week. It's gonna be great. We're gonna have so much fun. So, I mean, it's a great show. I love the sense of humor. It reminds me of 30 Rock. It's very subtle. Like, a lot of the jokes, like, aren't meant to be gotten right away or at all, really. Like, a lot of the jokes almost seem like it's for itself, you know? It's just making fun of itself for the sake of making fun of itself. It doesn't even act like a TV show sometimes, you know? And it's brilliant. So, I mean, like, one of their lawyers' name is Bob Law. And his name in his law firm is
Blah, blah,
blah, blah. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, God.
Oh my goodness.
So
I
ridiculous.
need to try the show.
Oh, it's so
I
funny.
like it.
And then the other show that I kind of binged watched that I've had my eye on it for a while, but I haven't bothered watching it until very recently, and I'm glad I picked it up. It's called Love. It's a Netflix original with
Aww.
yeah, I know, right? It's a rom-com, but it's really well written. It's about kind of like these two people in LA, and one's like they're both like really interesting like archetypes where it's like one is kind of like this crazy party girl and the other's like this nerdy like artistic dude, and
Was this the one where they're like the premise is like they're best friends, and then by the time that they hit 30 or something, they try to get married?
No. This is a TV series.
Okay.
It's like not like a rom-com movie or anything. It's a
No. There's a TV series that's coming out that's something like that.
Is there?
I guess this is the wrong trailer.
Yeah, it's Jillian Jacobs from Community and Paul Rust, and Paul Rust is like the main actor, and he's also like the director, producer, and everything.
Paul Rudd.
And of course he casts all these like hot blonde chicks to play his girlfriends. I mean, why wouldn't he, right?
Nice.
But it's
okay.
It's really good. The characters are very believable and real, and you know, Jillian Jacobs' character deals a lot of like all these addiction problems, and Paul Rust kind of goes through all these like he's kind of selfish. He's kind of like a normal person though. Like he's really into this chick, and then when another chick comes along, he kind of blows off the other girl, even though she's starting to like him, and they're both kind of crappy people, and that's kind of what makes it so endearing, is that like it feels super real. Like they both are really awesome people in their own ways, but you get to watch their other darker side too. And it's not like it's not perfect, and it's not meant to be like this great ending or anything like that. It's just meant to be entertaining, and it totally is. You get this like awesome vignette into this relationship, and the writing is super well done, and it's like they don't. Sometimes rom-coms like try to break people up in the most either uncomfortable or forced way, to the point where it's like you're cringing watching it. You're like, oh my god, I'm so uncomfortable. Why is this happening? But this, it felt like the entire time while you're watching, you felt bad when things weren't going well for the other person, or you felt like it's relatable. Like sometimes, in a relationship you can be selfish, and sometimes you can, only look out for yourself, and you see a lot of that in these characters. So it's cool to watch a kind of really down-to-earth show like that. So
nice.
I would recommend it for sure.
Well,
it's only like 9 episodes, I think, something like that. So
okay, so we'll have to give it a try potentially.
Plus, there's
just
boobies in like the first episode, so there you go.
Then I am going to watch this. Is it Hulu, Netflix?
Netflix.
Can't put boobies on
Netflix.
Netflix.
I'm so glad Mercy doesn't listen to this podcast.
So
She could be. You don't know.
What about you, Brian?
I actually just started watching, because they added it to Netflix this February. It was the People versus O.J. Simpson American Crime Story.
So when that's Cuba Gooding Jr.,
yes,
right, as O.J. Real quick side note: me and Marisha were leaving SF during Super Bowl City. Was it 2 years ago?
Okay.
Yeah, like 2 years ago, and we see this black guy chasing after like 5 white girls.
Mm-hmm.
And like these girls are literally running away. Well, okay, there's like 4 white girls and a brunette.
Mm-hmm.
And
wait, 4 white girls and a brunette? I'm confused.
4 blondes and a brunette.
Okay.
I was
like,
sorry.
I like how the white girls were automatically like blonde. I was like, there's 4 white girls and then there's this brunette girl. Is she white? We don't know.
So anyways, they were like literally running away from this black guy, and he's like really trying to get at her. And eventually one of them listened, and like the rest of them were down the street, clickety clacking in them heels. Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Look at me, I'm Cuba Gooding Jr." And we're like, "What?" We're like, "Is that really him? Because that kind of looks like him."
Shit.
And then one of the friends turns around, she's like, "Hey, it's him. He's famous."
Oh, and they all ran back.
They all ran back, and that was like the last we seen of him.
That doesn't say much about
Not
the
to out
personalities
you,
of those girls.
Cuba
Like,
Gooding Jr., even though this will probably never get to you anyways. But anyways,
you could.
O.J. Simpson trial.
O.J. Simpson trial. So, I'm pretty sure majority of the listeners and ourselves, all 3 of us included, were pretty young during that whole, situation. That was 94, 95. Like, I don't remember much of it, so watching it is really cool in that it's interesting to be like, that's no way that happened. There's no way he did that. He got in a car chase,
with juice.
Not the juice. He wouldn't do it. And my parents were like, no, yeah, that happened. And I was like, you weren't just sitting there and, work wasn't stopped because people wanted to watch this on the news 24/7. No, that happened. And whereas, we can't really relive the moment and kind of have one of those really cool experiences. Like, man, they really like nailed it on like how close this was. It's still super entertaining, and it's really well cast, and it's really well acted. And what took me aback a little bit was the fact that like this is the same like people that I'm pretty sure makes the American Horror Story.
Oh,
Because
well, that's a good show.
it was good. I mean, the last couple seasons have been kind of interesting, so people kind of had different opinions on it. But this new kind of American crime story that they've done, and especially with this first season, like it was really good, and I highly recommend you guys watch it if you get the chance. Cool. So yeah, what does everybody else think? What do you think of the new trailer for Samurai Jack? And if you had to pick a cartoon brought back from Cartoon Network as a new season, what would you pick? Let us know in the comments. But yeah, that's all we have for What's On. When we come back, we'll head into our movie segment, Keeping It Real.
Ladies and gentlemen, that topic was brought to you by Dialed In Project. Brian, do you ever wish you could relive a moment in time?
Of course, every time.
Well, now you can. Dialed In Project is a local photography and videography business that can be there to capture every moment from every angle. Need a high-quality video of your child's 5th birthday? Have a wedding but no photography at the ready? Want high-quality photos of your beach family reunion? Dialed In Project's got you covered. I personally used Dialed In Project when I needed them to follow me and take candid photos and videos like moments before I proposed to my fiance. And like I met up with them and they're like the nicest guys ever. They will work with you with anything that you want to do. They're just trying to get their name out there. Yeah, check them out. They do really high quality pictures, really high quality video. They'll rearrange everything for you. Just gotta check them out at dialedinproject.com. That's dialedinproject.com. Dialed In Project. Relive every moment. Alright guys, welcome back. We're in our movie section that we like to call Keeping It Real. So, couple quick tidbits of news. Ben Affleck has stepped down as the director for the solo Batman movie.
Yeah.
And I was pretty excited when I heard that he would be directing his own movie. Because the last 3 or 4 films he directed himself were amazing. And, no? You don't think so, Brian?
What was the recent film he did? It was like...
oh, okay. It's minus the gangster one.
The gangster
The
one.
gangster one didn't do so hot.
I know that did really bad, and Warner Brothers is just like, the losses are heavy right now.
Argo was dope, though.
Okay, fair enough. I
Argo
completely
was
spaced out on
freaking
that.
sick.
Argo is
And then
really
wasn't
good.
he in the town? Was that the...
Potentially. I didn't watch it.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so he stepped down from being the director for Batman, which I was looking forward to. But reasons were he wanted to focus all his energy and time on portraying the character,
Which I think is fair.
not splitting his time between the director's chair and the character. So we'll get to see who helms the Batman film. Another DC news: the Flash movie is getting a rewrite. Yep.
And they're using
Like
the same, like
a complete rewrite.
I guess something went wrong.
I mean, you think about it this way. This happened to the Ant-Man film, right?
Oh.
Like half of the script got finished and then someone else came in. I don't really remember the director. Was it Edgar Wright?
Sounds right.
Yeah, he came in and that movie was actually really entertaining.
It was good.
I loved that movie. So if that is any indication, I mean, this isn't the same exact
Studio,
setup or studio or talent, but just a little positivity just to be thrown in there. Like it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's like that means they found a problem and they're currently working on making it better.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get some more news on that and we'll see that movie soon.
Hopefully.
Yeah, in a flash.
Yeah.
And one more bit of movie-related news that we have that just
No, Ryan, this is my thing.
I'm so sorry.
Me next.
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
Really.
No, you go ahead.
No, ladies first.
Lately, when I go like at a door with some friends, I'll like shove them out of the way and say "ladies first," and I'll run inside or whatever building we're going into.
Nice.
It's a pretty good way of messing with people. I love it. Anyway, so it was just announced yesterday. Disney World, Animal Kingdom, Florida, put a release date on the World of Avatar. So, and I didn't even know it was under construction.
All
like,
right.
I'm not like a huge theme park person, but enough that like I watch a lot of Planet Coaster videos, so that was like a huge like roller coaster tycoon person. So like I have a little bit of a pulse on it, but not like I'm not like diehard. But I had not heard this at all. I didn't even know this was even like a thing. But yeah, and apparently in 3 months we will be able to go to the new Avatar theme park in Disney, which is pretty interesting considering that James Cameron just announced like less than a month ago that he has finished the scripts for Avatar 2, 3, 4, right? Is it 2, 3, 4 or is it 2, 3, 4,
What
5?
the hell?
I think it's just up to 4.
He's
That's ridiculous.
No, he's finished writing the script for the next 3 Avatar movies, and they're all written at the same time. So in hopes that they don't get like crazy, you know what I mean? So that they can actually maintain a trajectory without like just like cashing in for the sake of popularity. You know what I mean? So that's the intention of writing all the movies at once. And I know that they were trying to film a lot of them at once too. I think they were trying to do kind of a Lord of the Rings thing where they were going to film all of them at once, so the continuity of the age of the actors and the content is similar because it's all supposed to take place at one arc. So James Cameron has spent it's been 10 years, plus 10 years since, has it been 11 years, right? It came out in 2006. Since the first one came out, and he's been putting a lot of effort into the next, because he's always said from the beginning that Avatar was going to be a multiple movie series. So this is kind of coming to fruition all at the same time. So it'll be kind of cool to see what happens. And then obviously we're going to have a lot more material to go off of once these other movies come out. As far as like for Disney.
All we got to do is just got to take an Uber to Florida.
Yep.
Right.
Or have Brian drive us. I can cash it in.
I can drive you like a 20th of the way.
20.
That's all you get.
Oh my god!
Hey, I don't even have my car anymore, so it's.
I will say just for correction's sake.
Wait, what?
I was gonna say like in terms of the Avatar, like it is James Cameron's Avatar and not M. Night Shyamalan's.
Not
The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
But do we even want another attempt?
That movie. That movie was so good. I hate how Nickelodeon like bought the license to that and made it into like some silly cartoon
that no one watched.
Like, so
says nobody.
I heard. Yeah, I heard Avatar the Airbender has a cool like animated spin-off.
Yeah. What a twist.
What a twist.
All right, so
real quick, by the way, I'm not trying to. Me and Brian went to the midnight premiere of Avatar: The Last Airbender, so let that sink in for a second.
Oh my god! So the joke's on you. What a twist! This movie's bad.
Okay, this deserves a quick telling. Just I know we're taking a lot of time, but it's hilarious. He says he's going to buy the tickets. Yeah, I'm like, all right, you need to buy them on Fandango because it's midnight.
And it was.
He
it was
goes
totally
to purchase
sold out.
them. 5 minutes later, I'm on the computer looking up reviews. I see it's less than like 10% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh.
I call Ryan. I'm like, Ryan, abort the mission, abort. You're like, shut up. I bought the tickets already. We're gonna watch it. I was like, no.
This is like when I took you to the Ratchet and Clank movie, but I paid for you, so
so it was all right. And I got popcorn, so I was happy.
Yeah. Well, you always get popcorn for free.
It's not really free. It's like half off.
That's just Brian's frugal. That's just Brian's frugal ways.
Yeah, in one little bin.
I love it. It's like 100 degrees outside. You're wearing a freaking coat. There's like a bucket shaped.
With a large
bucket
popcorn
shaped,
box with the refill tab still on, collapsed.
No,
collapsed
I
into your
tuck it
jacket
quite
liner.
well. Yes, I tuck it quite well in between my armpit. There's not too many ragged edges sticking out.
And then he asks me if we want popcorn, and there's like pubes like hanging out. I'm like, no,
you don't get pubes coming out of your freaking like
you don't get
armpit.
Pubes out of your armpit.
I mean, it's like armpit pubes. They're different.
They're not different.
Brian, this was supposed to be a quick telling. Remember,
this is really gross.
This was supposed to be a quick telling.
Damn it!
Way to go.
This is what everyone comes for:
Are
pubes
we ever quick?
And popcorn. All right, let's get to the topic. What was a movie that blew your guys' mind? Now, this could be anything. It could be because of a story plot, or it could be what a twist. It could be the visuals. Literally anything part of a movie that blew your mind. How about we start off with Ryan?
I feel like this is no surprise to anyone considering I haven't shut up about this movie since it came out. But Interstellar. Interstellar by Christopher Nolan. was the last movie where, and Brian, you and I saw this together in IMAX. So you can
in the 70
obviously
millimeter.
attest to the
70
experience.
millimeter, by the way.
Yeah.
Fantastic experience.
I wish Max didn't come with us because you and I both were kind of sitting there.
hope Max
You and
doesn't
I were
listen
both
to the
sitting there
show.
just going like, what just happened? And Max turns to us and goes like, ugh, what a piece of crap. And I was like, no, shut up. I don't want to hear
He
it.
was a little critical about how he felt.
Oh my god!
It had,
You know,
well,
that's-
because
it's
it's like
his
he was
opinion.
like, oh my god, what is this, an anime? Like Love Conquers All? That was so stupid. I hated it. And I'm like, shh, shut your mouth.
Time out. Does
Shut
he
your
like Kingdom
stupid
Hearts?
mouth. Yeah, he did like Kingdom
I
Hearts.
don't.
Did
Yeah,
he?
I think so. I mean,
Then he can't talk.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he doesn't have a PS2, so.
Anyways, this movie
So anyways.
this movie blew my mind for several reasons. On a surface level, it is a action-packed sci-fi movie with a lot of great character development and a lot of like really great acting. But as someone who used to study film and who does video production, this movie was so much more once you started to understand how Christopher Nolan put this movie together. Just the length and the techniques that they went to for making this film. Just, I think all these small details really came to fruition in a really awesome way that people don't maybe not understand why they like the movie so much, but there was so many small details. For example, one of my favorite stories about this film is that Christopher Nolan, when he went to Hans Zimmer to ask him to score the film, he didn't tell him.
He told me this.
He didn't tell him what the film was about. He told him it was about a father and son's relationship. And he said, I want you to score something that encapsulates a relationship between a father and son. And Hans Zimmer said, sure, I'm Hans Zimmer, I can do anything. And then he goes up to Hans Zimmer later and just goes, just kidding, it's about a father-daughter. And he's like, haha, pranked. And he's like, just kidding, it's in space. And he's like, what? It's a space movie. He's like, yeah, I don't want
exact quote.
That's exactly how he
it's
says it.
probably pretty close. I'm not paraphrasing by much. But yeah, I mean, just the fact that he knew that thinking about this movie in a certain way would put him in a sci-fi box from his coworkers was just so smart. And the fact that they built full green screen sets, but like for the spaceship or not green screen, sorry. They built giant projectors sets for this around the spaceship that they filmed the crew in, so that, and they did all the CG at the beginning of the movie so that the actors experiencing the space travel actually saw what the final product was, and instead of like reacting to a dangling tennis ball. You know what I mean? I mean, they really went to length to not only make the feeling of the movie really unique as for its genre, but they also went through an extensive length to make sure that the actors got the best out of the actors. And also, you know, an example of that is the robot companion that they did such a great job of anthropomorphizing and making
The Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, and to make sure that that they used as little CG as possible on him, so that the bipedal motion on the water planet was an actual person, like it was like pushing this thing like back and forth basically. And it's really awkward to watch, but it's really fun to see the behind the scenes stuff. But they tried to not use too much CG for that character, and that made him so much more real. And just, I haven't seen that movie since the theaters. I've been afraid to watch it again in my apartment because I just
It all falls apart.
I have such a high
see the ways
opinion
of
of it,
Max.
so I just don't even want to. But I mean, I cannot talk highly of this movie. I cannot talk any more highly of this movie. I cannot shut up about it, so I'll shut up about it and just be concise and say that it is an extremely well-rounded movie that broke the sci-fi mold in a really good way. When there's so many other space movies that have just been saturating the movie market. I mean, Gravity came out like right around the same time, and they're not even comparable. I mean,
like Gravity. Though.
At a glance, they're the same movie, right? But they're not comparable at all.
Right.
Gravity was good, but for different reasons. You know what I'm saying, though? Like, I mean,
Dude,
Gravity was
so
a more conventional sci-fi movie, but it was more of a thriller, like a thriller space movie, a thriller set in space. And whereas, you know, that wasn't Interstellar's intention. But yeah, it's just, oh my God.
Exactly. It's just.
I mean, it's probably one of my favorite movies
So
ever, and
good.
Christopher Nolan's is probably my favorite director. So just watching his space movie, just like his version of a space movie, was just so captivating for me personally. And Brian, how do you remember that movie experience? I mean, am I exaggerating? Am I being hyperbolic? I mean, do you share this sentiment at all?
I think because obviously I didn't go into and like I didn't look up a lot of stuff after the movie. I just kind of like sat there and how I felt about it, and it was just this visual, just super sensory experience.
You felt like you were in
watched
space.
It. Yeah, like when they have that beautiful shot where they show the ship just kind of like basically was like going through like a black hole or like warping.
Oh yeah, and then like
and seeing that in the Metreon's 70mm, like they have a big ass screen. You were sitting there, you're like, I'm flying. This looks ridiculous.
Oh my god! And then the Flash comes through like the cockpit, and he's like, "Am I too early? I'm too early."
Damn it.
This movie's art director was a freaking leader in the astrophysics community. I mean, literally, Christopher Nolan didn't hire an art director; he hired a physicist to direct this movie, and this movie helped create breakthroughs and understandings in black holes because it was the most for the movie. The scene in the movie was the most sophisticated rendering of a black hole that we had ever seen. Period. I mean, that's just because the budget was so big for the movie. Like that's insane. This movie changed understanding of science and astronomy. Like, whoa. I said, whoa.
I think.
Oh
my gosh!
Sneezed, but he tried not to sneeze. So we got this weird little dance that he did. So I was like more
little dance.
I was more wowed by that.
Yeah,
I said, "Whoa, damn it!"
Whoa! He was worried that
Somebody
I
be
spit
impressed,
all
please.
over him.
I thought you said 5 minutes ago that you were gonna shut up about it.
He didn't.
But yeah, like the thing that blew my mind about that movie was when the relation of time. Like when they go on that planet for like what was it, 10 minutes or something like that? It's been like
years.
It was like 5 years, and
You're, like,
you get to
old,
see
man.
that
It's so
all
heartbreaking.
throughout like the video logs.
It was.
And like he doesn't even get to see Murph grow up.
Murph.
He gets this Murph. Do it, Murph. But yeah, like he gets to like he sees her every video log, and she's like 5 years older each time. And it's like, what the hell? Yeah,
It is very
Super sad,
emotional.
super depressing. So good.
Yeah. What about you, Brian?
I feel like it's a cop-out answer because we've been talking about it so much, but I think you
Is
guys
it
both know
Interstellar?
this. Like, it's definitely Interstellar. just
That's Courage the Cowardly Dog and Interstellar.
just the DVD version only though, not even the
DVD.
theatrical 70mm. There was something about Avatar when I watched James Cameron's Avatar, The Last Airbender. Hell no.
When I
Watching
watched
James
M. Night
Cameron's
Shyamalan's Avatar, I just was
It was
so blown
twisty.
away.
It was fantastic. So I think we talked about the date. I think it was actually 2009 is when this movie came out. It was a game. It looked like it.
What
it was
the
so
hell were you?
the CG was too good. It came out in 2009, and I remember it was winter break. It came out in December, I believe, and it was like a Friday. It was right after finals in high school for us, and I had seen posters all over the place, for the first couple of months of just some blue Smurf looking thing on a poster. I think it was the main character's avatar, like it's just his face, right? Just kind of like up close shot, and it just said James Cameron's Avatar, and I was like, oh, I didn't know like how I thought it was just some sort of sequel to M. Night Shyamalan's like The Last Airbender or something, or I don't know if it was maybe like a redo or like something trying to fix it. So I came into the movie literally, and I don't do this. You guys know this. I watch reviews and read reviews all the time. And this was one of the very first times where I just went into a movie and didn't know anything about it. I went in, they're like, oh, it's 3D. You have to pay an extra $3. Like, oh, that's bullshit. 3D sucks. Like, it's not worth it. Oh, yeah, fine. I'll fork it up. They only have it in 3D anyways. So I'll watch it in 3D. And I think we all, after watching it, and I think they talked about it, I think that film was made for 3D. Like, 3D is an afterthought for a lot of just like post-production stuff, for a lot of like, Marvel films and stuff. They're like, oh, we can add some extra showings and get some more money if we just make like a 3D version of it. And it doesn't look too great. Pixar in animation, though, 3D is pretty fantastic. But this is one of the very first, movies to really push 3D. And I know how the way they filmed it was unique too. And it was like you're watching it and you don't know the split between how much CG it was and like how much live action. Like it was so interesting how they did that. And I know the story is not original in any way. Running with Wolves, Pocahontas, whatever you want to call it, or Smurfs. But I didn't see that for its story. It was like I went on an adventure, like going through Pandora.
Going on an adventure.
Exactly. Going through Pandora, watching everything in 3D, and like seeing it from what was it, Jake Sully, or like I forget what his name was.
Jake Sully.
I think it was Jake Sully.
You're saying it wrong.
Okay, Jake Sully. Is that right?
Oh my god.
Nailed it.
Jake.
It's going to be the longest episode.
Nailed it. It will be. And I just remember it was one of the films in recent like memory that actually had me like thinking, wow, like I was just blown away by it. And it gave me a feeling that like I haven't had in a long time with a film, where I was like I wanted to see it again. And I literally watched it like the next day again with my family. And it was just this, more like I was saying with Interstellar, it was just this beautiful visual experience. And there was popcorn. And that's really what made it great. So
Because there's popcorn.
there's popcorn in anything, and that makes it good. So yeah, that's my pick.
Jesus. Yeah, originally I thought about this topic because I watched Split with, I took Marisha and her two siblings to go watch that movie. And the surprise twist of that movie, I was like, holy crap.
Wait, what movie? What's your pick?
Like, Split? No, that's not my pick, yeah. But this is the reason why I came up with this topic for today, because I was like, what should I talk about? And then it's like, dude, that part in the movie, like, blew my mind. So I was like, what should I pick for a topic today? And, but yeah, my pick for a mind-blowing movie was, I'm totally blanking now. The Matrix.
Oh, all three combined.
No, just the third one, because I'm so mind-blown on how crappy that one was.
There you go. You didn't specify what kind of mind blown.
Yeah, the very first Matrix. That whole story in it, like, just by that single movie was so, like, I had no idea. It took me, like, because originally I watched the movie as a kid when my sister brought it home to rent.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I don't know how old I was, but so many things flew over my head.
Mm-hmm.
It's not until recent memory that I started rewatching this movie, because I was like, man, this is a good action movie. I want to watch it again. Mm-hmm. And then you saw, like, when you actually pick up on the story and, like, the premise, it's like, it's not as crazy as life altering, but it makes you think, like, what if there is this world other than our own that we have no idea.
I know.
There's no way to access this world, because the world that we see is this fake world made especially for us. Mm-hmm. There's no way for us to know that the actual world out there is out there.
Not with that attitude.
I hate you. Yeah, it's just a crazy thought. And I remember talking about this to someone, and they're like, oh, that movie's so cheesy. Take the red pill, take the blue pill. I was like, did you even fucking watch the movie?
The rest of it? Yeah.
Like, oh, you just want to gawk at, like, the slow-mo effects? Yeah, face value, it's an action movie that has, like, pretty cool gunplay and John Woo like action, but like the fact of the story is so much bigger. It was just insane, like, thinking about how, like, there was a war between AI and humans, and AI won. Like, the robots finally won and took over, and they ended up breeding us to be energy sources for them. To
big old batteries.
Yeah, just be.
Wait, that's what the movie's about?
Big old batteries.
Is it serious, or?
I'm kidding. I'm just being a troll. I'm sorry.
Okay. We should all just watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was it was crazy. Like the little subtleties in there where he'll see deja vu and Neo will be like, oh, deja vu. And they freak out. They're like, what? And they're like, deja vu is a glitch in the Matrix. That means someone's trying to hack in and alter the world that we entered. And it's like, what? And so, like, it takes unexplainable events in real life, like UFOs and stuff like that. And basically, they're saying that something on the outside is plugging in to alter what we perceive as reality.
Yeah.
And like the whole fight scene in the dojo is like, he was like, oh, like like, you think that's air you're breathing right now?
It's not.
The whole like, what do you mean? Like, that is such a crazy open-ended question. Like, what do you mean? Like, I feel like I'm breathing air. What do you mean? You're telling me I'm not breathing actual air, that I'm just in some sort of program that makes me think what my reality is this time and place right now. But in actuality, we're not.
You're not there at all.
You're not there at all.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like some crazy sci-fi, like, what the hell are you talking about? And then slowly but surely, like, this kind of is freaky, but it makes a lot of sense in a very scary, scientific, like, sci-fi way.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, the moment I like realized that, I was like, whoa. when Morpheus jumped the building. And yeah, I mean, that coupled with like the cheesy action kung fu flick stuff, like like we all wanted to download porn. That's the
into
first
your head directly.
Immediately. I don't know why I wanted to say porn right after download. Like, they just fit together like cookies and cream and Oreos and milk.
Cookies and cream. Who eats cream with their cookies? You don't eat
cookies with cream?
You don't just kind of pour like whipped cream on your cookies? Is that? Yeah, I think we all do. I don't.
I don't, but if you guys do,
I failed us.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. But yeah, it's like we all wanted the idea that you could, oh man, I wish I didn't have to read this book. I wish you could just cram this in my brain or just download it and be like, oh, this dude learned every single art of kung fu or martial arts there is in a matter of like 10 seconds. But in that reality, he's probably been training for years.
Yeah.
You know? And he's like, I just learned kung fu. Show me. Like, so many cool moments.
It was.
Where
that was a pretty good Prometheus voice there.
Yeah, that was Patrick.
You practice that in the mirror, don't you?
Every night. Like, I knew the show was going to come up sometime in my life, so ever since I watched that movie, I was like, oh, show me. But yeah, just like the fact that they could bend the rules of reality, and there are things that we can't explain in our own reality that you could chalk up to being, that's the Matrix. You know, that's the fake world that we all see each and every day, but we don't know it's fake because we're born into that world.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy crap. When you put it that way, like, what is, like, how do you know?
You don't. It makes you question, like, reality. Like, I never saw Deja Vu the same until after watching that film. I'm
exactly.
Just like, oh no.
So that was definitely like a crazy, mind-blowing experience for me when I got a little bit older and started understanding more of the context of what the story was. And but yeah, let us know in the comment section below, what movie blew your mind? We would like to know, because we would also like to see that movie or see if we agree. All right, guys, that's it for our movie section. Stay tuned. We're coming right back with our last segment, Tech Nerdy to Me.
All right, guys, welcome back to our final segment, Tech Nerdy with Me. Today, I figured we'd kind of stick in the same vein as the movie segment. I really liked it a lot, so I kind of piggybacked off Patrick's idea, and I wanted to talk today about pieces of tech that have blown your mind. When you played with something for the first time, and it just amazed you that this thing exists in real life. I mean, so that's kind of the premise of today's show. I'm gonna start with you, Brian. Do you have a piece of gear or a piece of technology, recent or from memory, that when you held it in your hands or watched it or experienced it for the first time, that just really put you in disbelief?
Took me back.
that you felt like you were in the future, even if it was the 90s
Yeah.
or yesterday?
Future.
You know, honestly, like, I mean, it's not like that impressive, but I've been really liking it, and I know we've had it for a while. Probably VR.
Damn
Honestly.
it, Brian.
Was that yours?
I was gonna say it.
Damn it! I mean,
All right,
I
go
don't
ahead.
even own the headset, but like,
yeah.
but I mean, I'm just thinking about it. I was like, what recently just kind of like took me back, and it was when we first got to try out, virtual reality, and I'm not talking, the Samsung Gear VR that you can stick your phone into, which is honestly still pretty good. But
Let's talk about the Virtual Boy.
the Virtual Boy, Nintendo. But a full end, like, or a high end, relatively, I guess, for PlayStation's sake. But a dedicated virtual reality headset, and being able to see it for the very first time, at an event where we had to wait, 2 hours just to play a nice, quick 5-minute demo that we didn't quite understand how to play the controls, though they did a good job of showing them on the walls, I think, when we were waiting in line. It blew me away. It was one of those things where you watched it and you're like, this is the future. Like, this isn't 3D TV. This is like going somewhere. Like, I'm really excited for where this is going to go. And from that moment on, I was like, I want more. I want more time. And I tried as much as I could to see if I could find more demo booths in this PlayStation experience in San Francisco when we went that would offer us an attempt or a chance to try it out.
Those lines were ridiculous.
They were crazy. Like, if we had known about how to sign up for the events, we would have done it, but we didn't.
Yeah.
And we just had to wait in lines. But yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about VR in the past shows and stuff like that. But with like Resident Evil and all that. But that was my quick pick. I think maybe you can expand on that, Pat. I don't want to like fully take away like your choice.
Well, my original choice, like you're saying, like what piece of tech has blown your mind ever since like you first used it. I was like, my first choice was my vibrator. So Cameron.
Damn it!
No, I'm just kidding.
You named him Cameron?
Here we go.
Yeah, big old Cameron. But originally my choice was. I keep wanting to say my vibrator now.
It was my vibrator. You guys think I'm joking?
It was yeah. You think Cameron's right in my back right
Nicknamed.
now. So yeah, it was PSVR or just virtual reality in general. My first experience was waiting in a 2-hour line for what was a 5-minute demo of Eve Valkyrie on PlayStation VR. But literally, like, this is a thing. VR is a thing where watching it doesn't necessarily, you don't necessarily get it yet. It's when you finally put the headset on, put the headset on. Did I just repeat that? Is this the Matrix? This is deja vu.
It's deja vu. There's a glitch in the system.
So you put the headset on, you hold the grasp it firmly.
Grasp it firmly.
And you get sucked into this virtual world where you're actually moving and interacting like in real time. Yeah, it's different from holding a controller and making your avatar move and making them do certain actions where you are the player. Your actual actions impact the story of the game or whatever you're doing. So when I finally got to play this demo, I was blown away. I was so skeptical about PSVR. I was like, man, I have a feeling this is going to be a gimmick. There's going to be no support for it. It's like, I don't know. And I'm so glad I tried it out because although I haven't used it in a while, probably because of Final Fantasy and other games like that, I don't regret my purchase at all. It was very, like, it didn't feel like an impulse buy, but it was very justifiable for the purchase because I was like, man, I can't wait for this. Day one, I'm getting this no matter what. And just playing that demo, I was like, all right, I'm sold. That's it. I don't need to read anything else. I don't need to see any YouTube videos. I know exactly what I'm getting when I put this piece of technology on my face. And, like, I just can't wait to get lost in so many worlds.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what it does. And I think I agree with you that just that one experience, just that 5-minute, gameplay, you're like, you didn't need anything else. You're like, yeah, that proved it to me. Like, and if the PC versions are even better, then holy shit. So
Yeah. And then you add your vibrator to that. Oh my god. It's amazing.
Cameron, or AKA Cameron, is known as Black Thunder.
It's the future. VR and vibrators.
It's the future. The future is here. What about you, Ryan?
So, there's a couple of things I could probably think of, but, I also promised last week that I'd give a kind of a first impressions of my Mavic that I got. And so I feel like I'm going to have to go with the Mavic. Drone technology has come so far. I mean, who would have thought 5 years ago that you could buy like a little RC drone at Radio Shack if you wanted to? I mean, it's just about as casual now as it is buying an RC car from Radio Shack, And
Tell me if you see a Radio Shack.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. A blookbuster? What's a blookbuster? Right. It's so crazy that these are like things that people have now. And I obviously got like a higher end one for filming and stuff. So I got the DJI, who makes the Phantom. Their newest drone is called the Mavic, and this thing is tiny. It's about trying to compare it to like an everyday object. It's like about the size of a tissue box, like one of those like rectangular ones. It's probably about
Okay.
It's a little bit taller than that and a little bit shorter, but it's so tiny. It's about half the size of the other Phantoms, and all of its props and arms fold in. And there's just so many really great things about the design of this thing that are just so intelligent that allow it to be so small and compact. But I went out to the park last weekend. It's been raining, so I've been wanting to fly it every day, to be honest, but it's hard with this weather. I get to the park, I kind of fiddle around with it, and it's not really working just yet because I don't really know how to get it to work. And I finally get it to turn on, and the blades start whipping around, and you hear like the humbling little, and I just get like my lips start to curl up on the ends. And then as soon as it lifts off, I'm there with my friend Devin, and I just get the stupidest shitting grin on my face. I'm just like literally flying this thing for 20 seconds, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the coolest thing I've ever done. And the RC remote also has a function where you can lock it into your phone, so you can monitor the whole flight camera remotely, so you don't have to have direct line of sight. It obviously helps for the signal for the RC, but you can really tweak a lot of stuff. So I mean, it was just so incredible to hold it in my hands and like watch it and just have a drone and own a drone and fly a drone. It's so fun. It was really fun to watch it zip around. And I remember the first time I was actually landing it, we were at a park again, and a dog walks over and starts like trying to pick it out of the air. It thinks it's playing. And I'm like, no. This is not your toy. This is my toy. This is my toy. Start growling at it,
You pee on it, show who's boss.
Yeah, exactly,
How? Dynamic marking? Is it just like fly up and just...
It's like, sir, can you not pee on my
Midair.
dog, please? Like, well, don't tell it to leave my drone alone, and we won't have a problem.
And you start peeing on her, so
Get her-
to show
yeah,
her
get-
dominance.
Yeah. And anyone who disagrees with me, I will pee on you, and I've had a lot of Gatorade today, so...
Oh no.
It was a really cool experience. I hope that you guys can come out to the city soon and share that experience with me. I'd love to have you guys fly it, because I'm sure you'd nerd out about it.
Okay. You just Snapchat it to me.
Not really.
See, I've been
feeling
wanting
it.
to send people pictures and videos, but my phone is acting as the monitor, so I can't send people pictures or anything. But it's pretty sweet.
I don't know.
The top speed. Guess
you should just fly it over here right now.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Guess the top
It's range
speed
on
on
the
this
thing.
thing. It's pretty impressive, actually.
0 RAM lightning fast.
6-speed
Hardwire
processor.
megabits. Brian, how fast do you think it is?
All right, so I'm gonna go with like vertical takeoff and then just like speed moving forward. I'm gonna go with speed moving forward. I'm gonna guesstimate 35 miles an hour.
it's faster actually. You can go 45.
Wait. Ah, man.
He was gonna
Damn
say
it.
exactly
You had
45
your
I'm gonna
chance.
say it's 45.
You had your
It's
chance,
45
Patrick.
knots. All right.
Nuts. 45.
I don't know how to
45
translate
knots.
that to miles per hour, so
Kilometers.
I'm just gonna say that you're wrong. So yeah, basically, it can go in sports mode up to 45 miles an hour. This thing can haul ass.
Sports mode.
I've seen videos of people, doing shooting cars and stuff on the road with this thing. So it's pretty cool.
And it's keeping up.
Some of the features of this thing that really impress me is the onboard computer and some of the default settings that you can do. It has a full gesture mode where you can like tell it to take pictures of you from afar if you put up your hands in a box shape, and there's all these other things. There's tracking modes. There's tap to fly. Like there's all these like really interesting, cool settings. One of my favorite things that I'm excited to try is I'm filming a music video at the end of the month, and there's a scene that I really want to get of a car driving along the Marin Headlands. You know what I'm talking about, with like the bridge in the background. And I'm very positive, well, not very positive, but I'm positive that I can get this shot, and I've just got to practice it. But there is a active track mode, so you fly it up, tell it to track the car, and you allow it to fly backwards, and as long as the thing's under 45 miles an hour, then this thing can like haul ass backwards and just can like, you don't have to do anything. I literally don't have to pilot it. It will keep the same distance and track this object for me.
Wow, like a front shot.
And you can set it to like kind of slowly rotate left or right around it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get like this super intricate shot with almost no piloting experience. So, it's pretty incredible.
It's changing the way we view porn.
Yeah.
So first we had 360 camera VR. Now we have
Notice
Skycam.
all of our top notice all of our top picks are, pornographic, right? Or at least through Patrick's eyes.
This episode is just episode 5, porn.
And VR, and then there's a drone that goes in the sky and can film anybody. Yeah. No,
So, here's my-
genuinely, it's a very cool experience to fly something like that for the first time. It's a piece of technology that's unparalleled to anything that I've touched or experienced. So
That's awesome.
So
I would.
So here's my question.
Go ahead.
So everybody's getting these drones now. Do you think Uber and Lyft will expand to like drone sharing, so you could like work for Amazon and drop people's packages off with your Mavic Pro?
Yeah, I can like make money by delivering for Amazon or something.
Delivering things.
I
Exactly.
actually had a Lyft driver pick me up from the park that I was flying at, and I was telling him about it. He's like, wait, so like this whole Amazon thing, like, do people like have these predatory drones that can like steal packages? I'm like, honestly, with any piece of technology, there's always looking for someone to take advantage of it. So I'm sure when it becomes like more ubiquitous and an actual thing that, the Amazon air drones are like delivering packages on a consistent basis, people will find a way to steal the packages.
Everyone
mid-flight.
just looks up in the sky. There's like helicopters fighting each other.
Yeah, right.
Like drones
Like the
shooting at each other.
the
Like,
Amazon drone
what the
has a
hell is
fucking
happening?
machine gun on it or something. It's like shooting you down.
Yeah, they have to get self-defense. Yeah.
Devin, my friend who works at Apple was telling me that they have a no-fly zone over the new Apple campus. They don't want people taking pictures of it. They don't want people near it. They have hired people to patrol the air zone by it with drones, and these drones will ram into you to take out your drone if you try to fly over it.
So it's like battle bots.
It's like
Oh my
aerial
God.
battle bots. So I'm gonna go
This
fly.
is amazing.
I'm gonna go over there to fly over it just so I can get in a dogfight, basically, and like see if I can outmaneuver them.
Dude.
That's my
Because
plan.
it's all about outmaneuvering them. If you're
if you
a better
could link
pilot,
it to my PSVR, I could maneuver it like first-person view. I'll be in the cockpit.
you could.
Right?
Dude, that'd be
Actually,
sick, like-
I've never even thought about doing any tricks or anything. I'd be interested to see like if I could do backflips in this thing.
Next week's
that sounds
episode, my
scary.
Mavic broke.
It's gone, guys.
Guys, I
per
don't know how it
Patrick's
happened.
recommendation, I tried doing a backflip. Something about a backflip and some corkscrews. Did a barrel roll into a tree.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I'm pretty sure.
Are you gonna paint it any cool color?
I'm gonna get some.
I paint mine
sweet,
into DeLorean.
I'm gonna get some sweet flames going down the side.
How about some leopard seat covers?
Yeah. Some leopard
print.
seat covers. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Have you named it yet?
No, not yet. I'm thinking something like really cool, like Marcus or something.
Cameron?
Yeah,
Marcus. I like it.
yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
I think I'm not 100% sure on this, but I'm pretty sure you can actually use VR for the Mavic and pilot it. Because I think I'm pretty sure
compatible with the Virtual Boy.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it in
Virtual Boy.
their ads that they have like a VR capability, so you can like connect them and use it to pilot it. So
That'd be pretty cool.
yeah, I mean, I think it would definitely probably make flying easier, but you couldn't just go to the park and hang out by yourself and do it. You'd probably want someone around you, like making sure people aren't like fucking with you.
Too great.
So
Someone takes your car, you have no idea.
yeah, right. Exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a great piece of gear, and I'm really excited to use it for video production. But it's also got a really awesome implication just in general, as far as like the kind of it feels like the future. You know what I mean? I feel like we are living in it. I mean, we're always living in the future, but you know what I'm saying? It's like it's a great VR, and drones are a perfect example of like what's gonna be the next 5 years or so, right? I mean, so I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, let us know what you guys think about the Mavic Pro, and let us also know what piece of technology blew your mind the first time you tried it out, whether it be a calculator, a cell phone,
Or a vibrator.
or a vibrator.
Or a vibrator.
All right.
That's a dangerous question. You're asking for some certain type of response there, aren't you?
Yep. We're gonna get pulled off iTunes so quickly.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 5 of What Is Podcast. If you didn't know, the show is available for you to download every Tuesday by 11 a.m. on iTunes. Just search What Is Podcast, all one word, and you'll find us there. Once you're there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, share this episode with your friends, and do us a solid by rating us. If you want to be part of the show, leave your comment or topic in the comment section below on our Facebook page, or in our Facebook page. If you want to get more of us on the outside, besides the show, check out my YouTube and Twitch channel, Krabby Patty, KRAB_B_PATTY. Ryan, anything you want to shell out?
Yeah, just make sure to check out Native SF, my other video project, and check again.
Keep a lookout for that music video.
Yeah, we got some. I think it's gonna be pretty high production. We're like the guys actually wanting to spend a pretty. There's an actual budget, which is nice, because you get a lot of people like wanting to do music videos on the cheap or for free, and then you can only do so much. So it's it'll be cool, because we're gonna actually get all the necessary people hired and all the necessary props to make it look really good. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, check out the Native SF, the music promotion channel that I run as well. If you like local music, you'll love Native SF. We love local music over there, so check that out. We have an Instagram, Facebook, YouTube channel, website coming soon at the end of the month. And yeah.
Awesome. And Brian said that was a one-time thing, so stop calling him. He's taken. Thank you again for giving us a listen, and we hope to see you guys back next week.
Sponsor after we're done. I'm not feeling it. Hello.
Testing.
Testing. Can you still hear me? Hello.
I'm all out of love. How are you feeling? That isn't the lyrics,
But it's the melody.